Welcome to Bomb Squad Movie Night, where we will be podcasting into Valhalla, shiny and grow. I am your host, Tim M. Sullivan, and with me I have...
Hi, I'm Tanner Richard Kraft.
Hello, I am Cody Sweeto.
Witness me! Witness me!
Witnessed.
And I'm Rein, coming to you live from the Bullet Farm.
I'm Joseph Vrenick, and recently I went into a fishing shop and I asked the guy behind the counter what the worms were for, and he just went, "That's bait."
Got his ass. And we have a special guest returning from 3 episodes who's on Bullet Train, Polite Society, and Pacific Rim, my partner in crime and soon-to-be spouse.
Hi, I am the Scales of Justice. I am Cody Johnson, not Sweeto. Not Sweeto.
Yeah, so we do have to adjust the Codys in the room. We got 2 Codys on this app, so for our purposes, we're going to refer to Cody Sweeto as Cody S, and Cody Johnson as Cody J. This will not be helpful when we get married, but we're going to cross that bridge when we get to it. And today, we are discussing the great 2015 action epic from George Miller, Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
This is going to be an exciting time, but before we start talking about Fury Road, we have our opening warm-up question, because this is a movie that sort of revitalized a franchise from long ago. My question for you all is, what is your favorite legacy sequel / franchise revival? We're going to start with Joe.
My answer is gonna be maybe the most recent movie to have come out that anyone's fucking picking. My pick is The Naked Gun. It's only been out for a while, but man oh man, not only has it brought back the spoof genre in a big way, it's honestly just brought back comedies to big screens again. They keep going away. They need to stop going away, but they also need to make them good, and thankfully The Naked Gun is not only good, it's great. Like a legacy sequel, it is very faithful to the original, but like a good legacy sequel, it does its own thing because it's got 2 very distinct comedic talents behind it with Seth MacFarlane and Akiva Schaffer, but they know to stay true to the original and not delve too deep into their own comedic voices, but they kind of come from the same school as The Naked Gun, so I mean it'd be like dipping peanut butter in chocolate, really.
Hi, Daddy. It's me, Frank Jr. Love you.
Hey, Dad. Boy, do I miss you.
And the most important thing, it's really fucking funny. I don't think I've laughed so hard at a movie that has recently come out in so long. It was very nice and refreshing, but that's gonna be my pick. The Naked Gun 2025. Back to you, Tim.
Hell yeah.
Good answer.
I still haven't seen the new Naked Gun. I'm hearing it's very good and very funny, so I definitely want to check it out. But you know what else I want to check out? Rein's answer to my question. What's your favorite legacy sequel / franchise revival?
I don't know if you can technically call it a franchise revival if there was only one movie before it, but I'm going to go with Blade Runner 2049.
Let's go.
In short, it's everything that made the first movie groundbreaking and great, and then some.
I had your job. I was good at it. It was simpler then.
I'd say on a visual level, I mean, it's hard to compare to something as great as that. I might be on the fence here from a technical angle, which one I prefer more, but I'd say they're still on par with each other, even if they're kind of different. But then I guess the part where it really stands out is I feel like there's more going on, or at least what is going on in 2049 is more satisfying, I think. And also Harrison Ford, he actually looked like he was giving a shit, which it's kind of like 50-50, if that's kind of the Harrison Ford you're going to get these days. So that was cool.
Inexplicably, Captain America had Harrison Ford giving a shit.
It just has to not be Star Wars.
Yeah, I feel like I have nothing else to say, so I will tell a very short Harrison Ford story. A friend of a friend was working at a gym with some celebrities, and the boss was like, hey, you gotta really make sure you check everyone's ID, god damn it. And then Harrison Ford showed up, and he's like, can I get your ID? And then he was fine with giving me the ID, but he was just kind of confused, because it's like, who's asked for my ID? No one's done that in decades. It's a great movie. It's too bad it did horribly financially, but they'll try and get some money from that zone again in the future, and hopefully it'll be a fraction as good as Blade Runner 2049. All right, back to you, Tim.
Great stuff, Rein. And just to quote Harrison Ford,
Get the fuck out of my house.
all right. Cody J, what's your answer?
So my original answer to this was going to be Scream 4, but I have only regrettably seen that movie once, and I felt like I wouldn't be able to talk about it quite as much as this other movie that I've seen multiple times. So my answer is J.J. Abrams' Star Trek from 2009.
Oh,
Good answer.
interesting.
That is a great answer.
Thank you. Because that movie, it hasn't aged quite as well for me personally, but like at the time when I watched it in 2009, I was like, that is so cool. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Living in a house with my dad, I knew of Star Trek, like Next Gen and a little bit of Voyager and some DS9, but like I didn't really know old classic Trek. And this was my introduction to classic Star Trek, which is kind of a hell of an introduction, honestly, because it's so different from the original.
Ready for warp, sir.
Let's punch it.
But anyway, that was the movie where I was like, that kind of solidified my decision to go to film school. It also like influenced me in like the fandoms I was in, what languages I was learning. I signed up for Russian because of this movie. But yeah, that is my answer.
Hell yeah, good stuff. As you know, I have not dipped my toes into Star Trek very much. I watched the first like third of this movie in a class in 2009 because I was in a multimedia class in high school. And the teacher like torrented a cam rip of it, so we just watched it in the classroom for a little while. But eventually I do have to get more into Star Trek outside of the Wrath of Khan.
Oh, you will.
Yeah.
Oh, you will.
Alright, Tanner, what's your pick?
You know me. I did the classic Google search legacy sequels to get some answers, even though I had a pretty good idea in mind. Because Joe likes to call all my answers boomer answers, I thought I could go through a boomer answer here.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
In 1961, there was a film starring Paul Newman called The Hustler.
Oh, you
That's a
fucking
good pick. I know where you're going.
And in 1986, Martin Scorsese directed a fucking sequel to The Hustler called The Color of Money, which is arguably the original legacy sequel. I'm hard pressed to think of any older ones. And I went, yeah, you know, I love The Color of Money. It's a great Scorsese movie. It's a great Tom Cruise. And then I said the word Tom Cruise. And I went, wait. Wrong answer, because for fuck's sake, the answer has to be Top Gun Maverick, right? Holy fucking shit. Top Gun Maverick is an amazing fucking movie. I like the first Top Gun fine. Matter of fact, I like the first Top Gun a lot. Top Gun Maverick is like one of the greatest action movies ever made. Holy shit, right?
Come on, give me tone. Step out of it, Coyote. Come on. Come on, Coyote, come on.
So if you want to talk about amazing legacy sequel starring Tom Cruise, The Color of Money would be a good funny answer, but in my heart of hearts, I have to pick Top Gun Maverick. That just feels like the correct answer to me. Back to you, Tim.
Tanner, you want to know what's really funny? I almost picked The Color of Money originally.
Hell yeah, that would have been so funny!
And I only wanted to bring it up because it got referenced on the OC, which is that there's a callback.
All right, Cody S.
So I looked at the because like all of like you kind of guys said most of them, and honestly I haven't really watched many of them. And then I was looking at the definition. You know, legacy sequel is a work that follows the continuity of the original work but takes place much farther along the timeline, often focusing on new characters with the elderly original characters still present in the plot, from Wikipedia. And then it hit me right in the nuts. I'm talking about Jackass Forever from 2020. That is my legacy sequel.
Great answer!
It's a great answer. This movie is so fucking funny. I didn't think Jackass would be able to work in modern day, but it does. It's super funny. The new people are great. The returning people are great. And the stunts are as good as they've always been. It made me feel like I was back in the 2000s watching it when I shouldn't have.
I'm trapped, and you're putting honey on me and salmon? Oh, shit.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Also, this is one of the very few movies that I think COVID actually helped, because with the lockdowns, they couldn't do any of like the social experiment pranks. And those are always the pranks that age the worst, by far. You watch any of those older seasons of those movies, those pranks kind of suck. But the stunts are great. And this movie's like 90% stunts. It's awesome. Who doesn't want to see like a 50-year-old Johnny Knoxville get rammed by a bull for the 50th time? It's great stuff. Back to you, Tim.
Good answer, good answer. All right. So, something to keep in mind with the question that I posed is that I did not specify it had to be a movie, which is why my pick is Twin Peaks: The Return. Absolutely incredible piece of television, just an incredible piece of art. It's David Lynch's last real big thing he got to make, and honestly might be his magnum opus. It's continuing this franchise that sort of built him even more as a director, built prestige TV as a concept, and just one of the greatest vehicles of surrealism in television, and brings it to an even greater level of surrealism, like what he was doing in his movies that you couldn't put on ABC, because now he's on Showtime. And I'm so glad that we got something so wonderful and weird and so grand. You always hear people talk about how episode 8 of The Return is one of the best episodes of television ever made, and I'm hard pressed to argue with that.
This is the water, and this is the well. Drink full, and descend. The horse is the white of the eyes, and dark within.
David Lynch knew a thing or two, and I'm glad that he was able to sort of go out with a bang with Twin Peaks: The Return. But you know what else has a lot of bangs? The movie we're talking about today, Mad Max Fury Road.
I live, I die, I live again!
Here they come again, worming their way into the black matter of my brain.
Help us, Max. You promised to help us.
I tell myself, they cannot touch me. They are long dead.
So let's get right into it. We're talking Mad Max Fury Road. We will start with Cody S.
Me in the hot seat? Stringing me up onto the front of the car with the fucking mask on?
You betcha.
Oh boy. This is my first time watching the movie. This is my first time experiencing Mad Max in general. So what an exciting thrill it was. When I heard this described as like, this is like a 2-hour car chase and it's the coolest fucking thing ever, I was like, okay, that sounds neat. I didn't realize it was just like fucking Dune, but written by a jock who did fucking crack in high school. This movie's crazy as fuck. Max is a very interesting, like, even not knowing that, you know, he's a loose screw. It's an overwhelming movie, and the thing that I love the most about it is the editing. I'm gonna be a nerd and talk about the editing. It's very frantic, it's very choppy, many crazy zoom-ins, zooms out. It just makes the action feel hectic, because it is. Everything about this movie is absolutely hectic, and the editing absolutely sells it, especially with Max and all those crazy, you know, blink and you miss it flashes. It's just a lot to take in. First time watching, it is super overwhelming taking this movie in. And yeah, the actual like chase, I don't know why I say the actual chase like it's a tiny part of the movie. It is just the entire fucking movie. Is kind of awesome. It's fucking cool, okay? All the crazy cars, all the crazy nut jobs. Kind of reminds me of when I played Borderlands way back when, just driving around this wasteland. Yeah, I think this is a very sound movie with a very tight 2 hours, you know, beginning, middle, end. I do think by the end it kind of sputters a little bit, especially since it kind of focuses more on the story than the spectacle. And honestly, like, this isn't really a movie where the story outweighs the spectacle, because the spectacle is so fucking insane.
Can you take Cody out now?
Oh my god.
I kind of want to kick you out. I don't
know.
Like, all opinions are legitimate, but I don't think yours is. Sorry.
No. This is my first time with Max. Give me a break here. I still think it's a good movie, and I can't wait to watch it again. Maybe on its own, maybe with the other movies in mind. I liked it. Good movie. Hooray!
Good stuff. Glad you enjoyed your first foray into the mad world of Max. You did bring up the editing. I'm definitely going to go into that a lot more on my review, because there's definitely a lot to talk about with the editing. Joe, thoughts on Mad Max Fury Road?
Oh, what a day. What a lovely day. I get to talk about this movie, baby. Yes, I referenced it. Thank you for pointing.
He said the thing!
I said the thing.
You said the thing.
This movie is fucking incredible. I love this movie. I've seen this movie so many goddamn times. It's in a small collection of movies that I have a list for, and I've started that list after I turned 18 and could go see movies on my own. Movies I've seen multiple times in the theater. Mad Max has entered that list because I saw it opening weekend. I saw it a couple weeks later when I went to a convention, like I took a friend of mine to see it, and then I saw it maybe a third time. I got to watch it in the Big Show a couple months back because we had Mad Max Fury Road playing at the Alamo, and I put it in the Big Show because I wanted to watch it in the Big Show. I've also watched this movie on edibles, which I'm gonna give some friendly advice. Maybe take the edibles as the movie starts, because if you take it and let it kick in before you start the movie, you're not gonna have a good time. Because remember, the first like maybe 5-6 minutes of that movie, it feels like you're in the fucking pits of hell. Jesus fucking Christ. I was not having a good time for the first few minutes of that movie because I felt like I was descending into hell.
I just imagine the dust storm sequence happening and Joe's just like curled up in a ball crying.
Well, Tanner, that's the thing. By that point in the movie, it's like they get in the cars, the colors become more vibrant, and then you're just having a good time with it.
During the attacks, he was like, "Oh, the war boys are coming for me. I'm gonna die now."
Yeah, Joe's like, they're here to kill me.
White people are after me.
Yeah, once the car chase actually starts and you're high on edibles, that's when it becomes really fun. But even when you're not on edibles, it is a fun, big, bombastic, epic of a movie that I'm happy got made. George Miller, man oh man, he puts most directors his age to shame, especially when it comes to the world of action. Some of the best action that's been directed in forever. The script, it may be minimal, but you know what? There is depth, but in a movie like this, it doesn't fucking matter. It's Mad Max Fury Road, baby. If the car goes boom, then you've already done the assignment. There's a lot more I want to get into. I'd love to talk more about this movie and things in it, but I feel like I've been rambling for a little while. 5 out of 5, this movie's a masterpiece. Maybe the best action movie ever made. Back to you, Tim.
Hell yeah, good stuff. Rein, the only other person who has hosted an episode on a Mad Max movie. What are your thoughts on Fury Road?
What are my thoughts? I was quite confused when I saw this was up on the schedule, because I was like, what the fuck? We already did this episode. Oh, is it just because I hosted it? It's so bad that we had to just redo it and didn't even need to hide it from you. It's like, oh, even Rein can tell. And then I remembered, oh wait, no, that was Furiosa. And anyway, thoughts on the movie. I will say George Miller, a lot of people, they love the classic auteur where it's like, hey, you can immediately spot when you're watching a Tarantino movie or whatever. But I think it's really cool, feel like George Miller were able to create stuff with like so much variance in like genre and tone and all that, but still be really strong entries in what they're trying to accomplish. Well, that being said, Mad Max Fury Road, an almost perfect movie. But while I get George Miller, he's made kids movies before, he's shown he can do them well, make them charming, but I still didn't really think it was fitting tonally to like have that bit in the middle of the movie with Porky Pig and LeBron James where they just show up out of nowhere.
That was fun.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
It's a perfect movie. We were talking about a perfect movie, and I don't know how else to be like, it's pretty, and it's simple, and the fact that it's so pretty and simple to a degree is what makes it so great. You know, Miller, he does a good job at taking genre tropes that on other hands would be very fun but kind of forgettable, but adding a nice like artistic flair to it all from the set design. It's a lot of the look of this movie. For a lot of people, it's like this would be an insult, but I think it's nice how a lot of this was made to be art first and like super practical realism second, and I think there's something to just how artful everything is. You know, literally every frame of painting. Back to you, Tim.
Hell yeah, good stuff all around. Cody J, thoughts on Fury Road?
Thoughts on Fury Road. This is one of my favorite movies ever, which is really funny because at the time when this movie came out in 2015, I had no desire to see it whatsoever, because as much as I loved action movies, when it was like cars and stuff, like I didn't want to go see Fast and Furious or anything like that. So I was just like, oh, this is probably not my jam. And then it wasn't until like my family went to go see it, and I had friends that went to see it, and they were like, you need to go see this immediately. It's life-changing. And by that time, I think it was already out of theaters, so I think either rented it or bought it, because I didn't get to see it in theaters until they showed it at the Alamo earlier this year. So that was the first time I got to see it in theaters. It was earlier this year. But yeah, I was expecting to be unimpressed, and I came out like, that's a fucking masterpiece. Like, this whole thing is a masterclass on editing and pacing and production design and world building. This is a film that's designed to be studied, like, even if that wasn't like the intent. And I have a lot of thoughts about it. But that's why I brought notes. It's a fantastic movie. I love watching people react to watching the movie. I like showing it to people. I like watching YouTube reactors who like walk in totally blind and not know what they're about to witness.
High on the scales of justice, conductor of the choir of death. Sing, brothers, sing!
I told him that I didn't think I would have anything particularly insightful to say about the movie, and he told me, I've heard you wax poetic about it. Just come. Brief thoughts, but thoughts.
Good thoughts. Good thoughts. Damn. Thoughts on Fury Road.
So I finished rewatching this movie for the first time in a long time, about 2 minutes before we started recording.
Correct.
So this is very fresh on my mind. Like Cody, this is one of my favorite movies ever made, which makes it all the craziest that it's only my second favorite Mad Max movie. But we're not here to talk about The Road Warrior, we're here to talk about Fury Road. Just a perfect action movie, honestly. Much like how Top Gun Maverick, that I referenced earlier, is a perfect action movie. This is a perfect action movie. I could go on endlessly about how it's such a perfect action movie. The stunts are incredible, the car chase stuff is incredible, I love how much of a focused picture it is. I can go on and on about how George Miller's wanted to make this since the early 90s. I love telling people that the reason this movie didn't happen in the early 2000s is because of 9/11. I'm not even kidding. This is a true story. What happened was that 9/11 happened and the value of the US dollar crashed relative to the Australian dollar, which made their budget balloon, and they couldn't make it in the early 2000s anymore. So Mel Gibson aged out of the part, probably for the best, even though I do think he's great as Max. Hardy's, not anti-Semitic.
Yeah, he also was busy with The Passion of the Christ at the time.
That's another reason it didn't happen then. 9/11 delayed production just long enough that Mel Gibson became more interested in doing Passion of the Christ. Passion of the Christ 2, Electric Boogaloo, coming soon to a theater near you.
God, no.
This time the cross is neon.
Passion of the Christ 2049? What are you on about?
It has like neon lights.
Super Mecha Death Christ?
Hang on, is this a Nicholas Winding Refn picture?
Yeah, you get it. Nicholas Winding Refn's The Passion of the Christ. I could rant endlessly about the action, but I won't. Instead, I want to defend the story against sexist pig Cody Suiso.
You know me.
I think, an action movie can be great with action alone. But what really makes a movie like this great is having a story and characters, especially characters that you really care about. Number one, the most smartest thing they did when making this movie, the protagonist, contrary to the title of this movie, is not Max. I know it starts with Max, but it does not end with Max. The movie does not revolve around his decisions. Definitely a co-protagonist, but more of a supporting character compared to Charlize Theron's Furiosa. Number two, this is the best performance in Charlize Theron's career, if you ask me, which is crazy because she has given a career full of amazing performances. All the performances across the board are incredible. It's an incredibly simple story, but executed to perfection because these characters are so incredible. I'll be honest, I was crying before I came onto this call because Nux' sacrifice really gets to me.
Yeah.
I think Nux has an incredible character arc from being this religious fanatic to discovering that people could care about him for who he is instead of what he can do, which I'm not saying I have this problem, but I read a lot of men on the internet who feel, whether they're conservative assholes or whatever, but I do know that there are a lot of men who feel as if they're only valued for what they can provide. And Immortan Joe is like the epitome of that. He only cares about people as so far as what they can provide for him.
Return my treasures to me, and I myself will carry you to the gates of Valhalla.
Annihilated.
You will ride eternal, shining and chrome.
Here we go.
While, you know, the whole Furiosa crew kind of care about him as a human being. That scene where he's hiding under the car and he literally starts banging his head against the wall, which, let me tell you, relatable, was a really powerful moment for me. When Furiosa falls to her knees as she realizes that the home she has been waiting 7,000 days to come back to is gone. Really powerful, emotional moment. The whole movie, Max is being haunted by the visions of some kid. I'm never quite sure what kid that is. I think the prequel comic that George Miller commissioned explains it.
Yeah.
I haven't read it.
me neither, but
it also doesn't matter. You get the idea that this was a kid that Max failed to save. And that moment when he realizes he's going to turn around because he's not going to fail to save someone again, really powerful moment. It's full of really powerful character moments. So maybe the story itself is very simple, but I think the character moments really propel it to being this extra special thing. Every character has a moment to shine. However, I have to be honest, this movie's a disappointment compared to Furiosa Mad Max Saga, because I don't recall Scrotus being in this picture. And honestly, that's a huge dropped ball. Why isn't Scrotus in this movie? The whole time I was watching this movie, I thought, where is Scrotus? Is he safe? Is he all right?
It seems in your madness we killed him.
No!
But Tanner, we have Rictus Erectus.
Rictus Erectus is also incredible, but I like Scrotus a little more. All great names, regardless. It's so easy to talk about what this movie does action-wise, and most certainly the action stuff is what propelled it to being this well-remembered, like, dudes rock male blockbuster thing. But the character moments is why it got a nomination for Best Picture at the Oscars. Not every amazing action movie gets to do that.
Yeah.
This movie and Top Gun Maverick both do that pretty similarly in terms of having great character stuff on top of the amazing action. One last thing I want to say before I turn it over to Tim. Our opening warm-up question for this movie was, what's your favorite legacy sequel, with the assumption that this movie is a legacy sequel. There are people smarter than me that have made this argument, but I sort of just want to tap on this. This movie's an anti-legacy sequel, if anything. This movie is so disinterested in the legacy of its franchise and in the continuity of these movies. While legacy sequels typically have a lot to do with the legacy of the franchise and the continuity of these movies, Max isn't even played by the same actor. Like, I feel like that's a big part of these legacy sequels, is not just seeing these characters come back, but seeing this cast come back. I'm only bringing this up because I think the movie's all the better for it. I think Tom Hardy breathes new life into the character. Could have Mel Gibson done a great job? Honestly, probably. He did a great job in the first 3 movies. I see no reason to see that he couldn't do this. But Hardy, I don't know, there's this silent quality to Hardy. Hardy, as a quiet man, I think plays better than Gibson. Gibson's a bit more talkative, I feel like. They have different strengths as actors. And again, if you really think about it, I brought this up with my dad, again, how disinterested these movies are in continuity. Furiosa and Max are like the same age, right? They look about the same age.
Yeah.
Okay,
roughly.
So in Furiosa was born into a wasteland, right? Max was supposedly a cop before all this shit went down. Like,
They're just in different areas of Australia.
I also said, Dad, I like to think only Australia is like this and the rest of the world is still normal.
Yeah.
Point being, I think what makes this movie really interesting in the legacy sequel conversation is how much it's not a legacy sequel. But yeah, this is like a perfect action movie with amazing character moments that is so uninterested in grappling with the legacy of its franchise that it doesn't have to deal with the weight of its franchise, which means that you don't have to think about Beyond Thunderdome when you're watching this movie. Arguably a good thing, even though I like Beyond Thunderdome. Back to you, Tim.
I wanted to build a little bit off of Tanner's point, which I think is a fantastic point. Somewhere, I don't remember where he said it, but George Miller talked about how he wanted this to be very, like, mythic in terms of the storytelling, in that continuity is just kind of a suggestion. To him, these stories were like stories that people in the wasteland were telling each other about the road warrior Mad Max. And I think that approach has kept him from falling into the trap of legacy sequels, which is pandering, I guess. Like, it prevents that kind of stagnation, which I think is wonderful. This is her Mad Max that she met in the wasteland. It could be different from any other version of Mad Max that somebody else meets.
All right, good stuff all around. Yeah, this is an incredible movie, an incredible piece of action cinema. Just 2 hours of fuck yeah, motherfucker, basically. There's just so much about this that works, and you've all done a great job of covering all of the great things about it. I'll start by just going into the editing as I said I was going to do. So this was edited by Margaret Sixel, which is George Miller's wife, and this was the first action movie that she edited, and she asked, why do you want me to edit this for you? And he was like, because if a guy edits this, it's just going to be one of the many other action movies. And then this ended up getting best editing. So, good call, George.
Very good call.
The editing in this is incredible. Literally, in editing classes that I took at Webster, I was taught scenes of this movie, particularly the shot of Max loading the rifle with all of the like microscopic jump cuts that are nigh invisible. The editing is so good, it's so tight. This movie is 2 hours and it's never boring. I read that apparently they made both an R-rated cut and a PG-13 rated cut, and Warner Brothers ultimately ended up going with the R-rated cut, which is surprising considering PG-13 probably would have made more money even if it was a worse movie, but I'm glad that we got what was probably the better movie. There's so much great character stuff. It says so many great things about hoarding of resources and treatment of women by this awful dictator. There's so much character and world building that makes this movie really special, but is also just really fucking cool. It's just such a cool fucking movie. You know why they had a guy who looks like he's from Slipknot playing a flamethrower guitar on a giant truck with speakers all over it? Because that's the coolest fucking shit you can put in a movie. Another great thing about this is so much of it is practical. There's still plenty of CGI, but their philosophy was in any given shot, they want at least one piece of it to still be practical, and that ultimately makes it feel more real. Like watching the actual footage of them getting the shot of the war rig getting flipped over and then the doof wagon crashing into it, the phantom cam just getting the slow motion of everything coming at it is incredible. I just love that George Miller goes to these insane lengths, even though I imagine working on a George Miller movie has to be like simultaneously both a fucking nightmare and also like you can look back and be like, oh yeah, that was the coolest shit ever. I'm glad I was a part of that.
Remember me?
And Tanner did bring up something that I was going to bring up and sort of why I posed the legacy sequel question, because this movie is building on an existing franchise but doesn't give a shit about continuity. Like, I think George Miller at one point was like, it probably takes place after Thunderdome, but who gives a shit? Like, the only real firm continuity in this franchise is that the first one and Furiosa are the earliest. That's about it. Everything else, it takes place at a time. It happened at some point. Who knows? And I love that because this movie obviously came out in 2015, and another movie that came out in 2015 was the lowest hanging fruit for the question, Star Wars The Force Awakens.
I did consider saying it because I still really like that movie.
Mediocre. It is a good movie. I do still like The Force Awakens, but I think Mad Max Fury Road is ultimately such a better movie, and a big part of why is because it's not so beholden to the movies that came before it. It's just another vehicle for myth making, and you can watch the first 3 Mad Max movies and go into this and enjoy it, having experienced those movies prior. But you can also do what Cody Suiso did, just go in completely blind and have a fun time with a cool fucking action movie. It works equally well either way. It's just a good fucking movie. What more really can you say? It's just such a perfect, incredible action movie. With that said, that's just about our time. So we'll get into our final thoughts. Rein, start with you.
Great movie. If you haven't seen it, I hate you. So, back to you, Tim.
True!
That's fair.
If you haven't seen this movie, stop it. Get some help. Alright, Cody J, final thoughts.
One thing I forgot to mention earlier was that when I watched it this time, I feel like I noticed a lot more of George Miller's background with animation in this, because he said that he had like everything storyboarded out before he even had a script for this. So like he knew exactly what he wanted this to look like. And another thing was how every character has like their own silhouette, which is like really important when you're like trying to draw figures and animate them. They have to be distinct from each other. And this time I noticed that Max and Furiosa have almost the same silhouette on their shoulders, because he's got that jacket with the armor plate, and then on the opposite arm where she has her prosthetic, she has a similar shape, and it just really struck me about that. And I had a quote here from one of the writers. It's a story of a man running away from his better self, but his better self catches up to him. And you could argue that Furiosa is his better half. That was from Nico Lathuris. I think he was one of the writers. He also acted in one of the movies before that. He had a minor role in one of them, but he was part of the writing team for this movie. It's just every time I watch it, I find something new that enhances the experience and makes it better. So please, if you want a movie that will keep you entertained endlessly, that you can just watch over and over again and find out new things about it, this is one of those.
Hell yeah, good stuff. Tanner, final thoughts.
I do want to bring this up really quickly, only because we didn't get to have general discussion. There were a lot of actors that were considered for the part of Max other than Hardy. Charlize Theron was always going to be Furiosa. A lot of actors were considered for Max. Those actors are Armie Hammer. Oof. Jeremy Renner. What the fuck? Joel Kinnaman. Sure, I think he's Australian. Michael Fassbender. Sure. Heath Ledger. Dead. Eric Bana. What?
Well,
Also
he is Australian.
He's Australian, so I guess the only thing was George Miller was like, I don't want to pay for a plane ticket. But the number one actor, and apparently this was George Miller's. So Tom Hardy was apparently George Miller's third choice, right? His first choice was Heath Ledger, but Heath died. His third choice was Tom Hardy. His second choice was an American actor, and he turned down doing the movie because he didn't want to leave the United States. That actor's name was Marshall Mathers, aka known as Eminem.
No fucking way! What? No.
Similar to it's just like fucking Elysium. He's like, I don't want to do it if I gotta leave Detroit.
Yeah.
But apparently Miller really wanted Eminem for the part. So this movie could have had Eminem in it. I don't know if that would have made it better, but I just know it would have made it funnier. One way or another, it would have made it funnier.
I would have given it a 10 out of 10.
Eminem could have been a war boy, easily.
Eminem in the Holt role would go kind of crazy, honestly. Yeah. It'd be like him apologizing for something in my closet, but in movie form.
Y'all act like you never seen a white person before.
Anyway, this is an amazing movie with Eminem or without Eminem. I fucking adore this movie. It's a perfect movie, action movie. As much as I would like to see the version with Eminem as Max, because that seems like it'd be really interesting, we got the version with Hardy, and Hardy's the perfect version. I fucking love Mad Max Fury Road. And the only thing I would do, other than maybe putting Eminem in it is to make it better, would be if I set it up in the northeast of the United States in 1990 and they started playing a baseball game, because if this movie was Ephus, it'd be the greatest movie of all time. Watch Ephus now. Ephus.
You know you can remove him from the chat, right?
Tim put his hands to his head as he realized what I was doing.
No, I knew this was coming a mile away.
I still got him. I still got it.
We have snipers in position.
Circuit.
Snipers in position.
Yay,
All right, good
we did
stuff. Cody Suiso, final thoughts.
My final thoughts is I just learned that the guy who was playing the flamethrower guitar, a real flamethrower guitar, by the way, it's called the Doof Warrior.
Yep. That guitar was 132 pounds.
And it's played by an actual singer-songwriter, and he's named the Doof Warrior. I take back what I said earlier. This movie is my movie of the year 2015. I don't know what else I saw that year, but fuck it. This movie's amazing.
Hell yeah.
It's got the Doof Warrior. It would unironically be in my top 10 if Marshall Mathers was in it, but I'll stay out of this.
Joe, final thoughts.
Alright, so I guess since we're getting one little quick fact in with our final thoughts, I'll pose this question to the audience because Riley Keough is in the movie. Great actress Riley Keough, the granddaughter of Elvis. And I bring this up, this is definitely for my boss Mark's enjoyment, but I also find this question very funny. I pose this question to the audience. If Elvis were still alive today to see this movie, do you think Elvis would have liked Mad Max Fury Road? Better question, do you think Elvis would have liked Sasquatch Sunset?
Yes and yes.
Oh, mama, look at them Sasquatches. Oh, mama, look at them big feet. Love them big feet, mama.
If nothing else, you probably would have liked the Doof Warrior.
Fun fact about the Doof Warrior, speaking of Riley Keough, that actor that plays the Doof Warrior, married to Riley Keough in real life. 5 out of 5, masterpiece of a movie, George Miller's magnum opus. Everyone raise a middle finger to Pitch Perfect 2, because Pitch Perfect 2 beat this fucking movie at the box office, and it doesn't fucking deserve it!
I like Pitch Perfect 2. It's not Pitch Perfect 2's fault it made more money.
Fuck you!
The PG-13 cut would have made more money than Pitch Perfect 2. Good stuff all around. My final thoughts. This movie's great. Absolutely love it. Much like Cody, I did not get to see it in the theater when it first came out, but I'm glad that we were able to catch it at the Alamo this year, because it is a movie that is meant to be experienced on the biggest screen possible, because it is a spectacle and a half. I guess since we all did our little factoids, I'll just do this little fun fact that would have been brought up in general discussion, which is that the stunt doubles who did Max and Furiosa ended up getting married.
Fuck yeah.
Which is especially funny because Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy hated working together on this picture.
Everyone hated working on this movie because nobody believed George Miller knew what he was doing at the time.
Yeah, they were just like, what the fuck is happening? And, you know, to be fair, if I spent that much time in the desert, I probably would also be getting frustrated. But it all came together into a masterpiece, and I'm glad that we got this masterpiece of action cinema 10 years ago. And with all that said, this has been our episode on Fury Road. Thank you for tuning in. Cody Johnson, thank you for coming onto the show. You have been a lovely guest.
Thank you, beloved.
If you are listening on the audio platforms, please give us a review. Give us a thumbs up. Tell us how we're doing. Show this to your coworkers. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. Leave a comment below. Let us know. What do you think of Mad Max Fury Road? What do you think of the Mad Max saga? What's your favorite Mad Max movie? What do you think of Australia the continent? Comment below and let us know. And while you're down there, hit the like button if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. And hit the bell icon to get updates on when we upload Deuce It Up. And if you want to support us further, please check out our Patreon. The $5 tier gets you access to some commentary tracks, and the $10 tier gets you a shout out at the end of the episode. So, many thanks to Tanya Kraft. We appreciate your continued patronage of the channel. And if you'd like to support us financially in another way, you can get some merch at bombsquadproductions.shop. We got shirts, we got hats, we got posters. Cody Suisso's wearing one of our shirts.
Witness me!
Witness him in that shirt.
Witness!
And we can witness you in your shirt if you buy one. And I guess send us a picture, because that's not how the internet works. Thank you once again for tuning in. And remember, I live! I die! I live again! Witness me!
I'm gonna die historic on the Fury Road.
I slid my ticket across the table and I said, sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl.